Hello there again, Comets. This time you're going to be learning how to make step number 1 in making your own Google Draw snow globe. Today we're going to be working on the scenes that will go inside. Now keep in mind that you are going to be able to be as creative as you'd like with what you put inside of yours, but there are some basic things you'll need to know. Here we go, globe. So we're going to begin where we began with our mood boards, which was our initial project, and you go to view assignment. And then remember, on your instructions page, you have the window that says your work, and it has an option to add or create. You will add or create a new Google drawing. You will have to select that. Keep an eye out as you look up here at the top of my screen for this little red logo. That is your Google Drawings logo. You will also want to rename this. I renamed mine SG, standing for Snow Globe Scene. And for this one, we are actually going to leave the background blank. We don't need to change the background. Our background will be created in the snow globe that we will do next. So first, I need to create some ground because in the snow globe, that's where everything is going to sit. So one really handy tool to be able to use is something called the polyline tool. You need to make sure you are using this one, not the scribble, not the curved or elbowed connector. The polyline tool is the one that creates the shape, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So I'm going to pick where I want that ground to be. My cursor is now a little plus sign, so I click, and I'm going to come across, and I'm going to click where I want my next corner, and I'm going to click where I want my next corner. And as I come around, you'll see what happens once I get back to where I start. The color fills, and I know that I have a shape. Now this is going to be snow. I don't want it to be white, so I'm going to go back up to fill color, which we should be fairly familiar with, and I'm going to make it a little grayish, okay? Just so it's a little easier for you to see. I can also go in, and if I go to my select tool, that means I want my cursor back. This pops up and I can collect that, and I can actually fix my line. Border color, I want it to be transparent. I don't want to see the border on it, okay? I just want the shape. So next, I'm going to go back up to my shapes tool. This time, because there's always a little scene inside of a snow globe, I'm going to make mine a little winter scene. You could make yours a summer scene. You could make it a scene in Paris. You get to decide what the inside of this looks like. But what I do want you to do is use the shapes and have different levels like a foreground, middle ground, and background to create a sense of depth. So if I'm going to make this a little forest scene, I'm going to go ahead and fill that color. Let's say I'm going to go a deep green, but maybe I want to play a little bit with gradient. So I need to go back to my fill color, and I can select gradient, and then maybe let's do a linear gradient with the green so that it looks like that. Now again, I can do Control C and Control V to copy and paste, or I can do Command D or Control D, and I can have a few copies of those trees. I want another one. There we go. Now I can even make some bigger ones. So I'm going to speed up at this point so I can have a few more trees and you don't have to watch it in real time. Now what you might notice here is I have some trees that are out of order. So a good thing to know what to do is to change the order of the trees. For instance, this one is higher and should be behind these other two trees. So now I need to go make sure that that tree is selected. I'm going to go to Arrange, Order, and I'm going to send it backward. That got that one fixed. I need to go back and do it one more time. Send it backward. No, not yet. There we go. Now it is in the right place. So I am ready to now go ahead and make my house. Now, again, your object doesn't have to be a house, but I'm going to show you a little way to make a little cabin in the woods. But you can feel free to go ahead and be creative with this. So I'm going to go over to my shapes and I'm going to select a pentagon, excuse me. And then I can go ahead and change my fill color. I'm going to choose this brown because that orangey color looks like a nice brown. I could change that to a gradient if I wanted to, but I think it'll be okay as it is. What I can do now is I want to add some shapes for doors. So if I go in and I add, this is a good shape for a door. I need to rotate it, so I'm going to grab that little circle that helps me turn it. I definitely want to change this to a gradient. Let's say I'm going to do a blue door gradient. I can even go custom, but I think we're just going to do a little linear like that. That's going, now notice that's going sideways, which is okay by me. I can now add other shapes for windows as well and other details. I'll leave up to you. For what I want to show you here today is adding snow onto the top. And there's two ways to do this, but in order to do it the best, I'm actually going to go up here to my zoom tool and I'm going to zoom in 200%. This is going to give me more control. So I want to show you specifically the curve tool. The curve tool is the other tool that creates shape. Curve connector does not create shapes, nor does the scribble. So it's the curve. If you want kind of a bumpy snow, I'm just clicking every so often, and then when I change direction, it goes in a curve. Now I clicked, I came back to where I started from, and that filled in. If it doesn't fill in, you are either using the wrong tool or you did not go back to where you started, and you might need to delete and try it again. So this one I'm going to go ahead and change to white. And again, I want the border color to be transparent. I just want to see the snow. So I need to go back to my select so that I'm back on my cursor, and then I can go in and add the snow on the other side of the roof and any other details like windows I'd like to into my house that I have here. You can also go in and do this house as two separate shapes. We're going to go back to 100%. And I want to show you how to group it. Say you want to move all of this, but you don't want the pieces and parts to fall apart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command A, and you'll notice that everything gets that little blue line around it, and it shows that it has selected everything. Now I can go to Arrange and Group, so that now I can take and I can move the whole thing at once. When you've added your details with your levels of foreground, a little bit of middle ground, some background, a main central object, then you are ready to group it, and you are ready to start your snow globe, which you will see happen in the next video. Now, when you're done, don't go turning it in just yet. You're going to find out how to make the snow globe, and then we'll put the two together. See you next time.